So this is for topic 8, digital citizenship. This is for activity 2 for the March 26 class, the know, understand, and do. It says for your grade level and subject area, and I did all my lesson plans and unit plans for History 20, but I've decided to do this activity based on my practicum, and this semester I am in a grade 5 class. I got a language arts unit to teach, and so I chose to teach it on plural nouns and possessives. For this activity, I'll just talk about the first part, just the plural nouns. This was over about 3 weeks of classes, and so the know, understand, and do I thought was very helpful for me to know what I expected from the students, and also for the students to know what I was expecting and what they had to do. So for plural nouns, the know part, they had to know, first of all, what a noun was. They had to know it was a person, place, or thing. Then they had to know what a plural was. So they had to know that it was a multiple of something, so more than one. They had to know together a plural noun means a multiple of a person, place, or thing. Then they had to understand, so that was kind of touched in the know section so they had to know what a noun was, know what a plural was, but they also had to understand it. They had to understand that it means more than one of a person, place, or thing. And then they also had to understand that when it comes to plurals, there are different endings depending on what the word is and what it ends in. So this could be understanding when to put an S on, when to put an ES on, when to put an IES on, when to change the F to a VES, and then irregular plural nouns, for example, like when you change mouse to mice, or how you don't change moose, the plural of moose is moose. So they had to understand the rules, but then they also had to understand that, like most rules in English, there are exceptions to these rules. So it's not an automatic, every time something ends in an F, that you drop off the F and add a VES. Sometimes, like say for example, the word chiefs is not VES, it's chiefs with an S. So there's always going to be exceptions to the rules. So we still taught the rules. We still taught if it ended in something like CH or Z or S or SH, the ending's usually ES. If it ended in a Y, you drop the Y and add an IES. So those are rules that the students had to understand. They had to understand that there's going to be exceptions to those rules, and we tried to incorporate those in the worksheets so that they would, because the only way to know those, because there's no rule for those, is just seeing them over and over again. So that's what they had to understand. And then what they had to do was, we always did activities with them, and then we always did worksheets with them. So one of the activities that the students really liked was, after the lesson, they each got cue cards with singular nouns on them, and then around the room on different parts of the walls, there were endings of words. So there was S on one corner, ES on one corner, IES on another corner, and VES on another corner. So students would get their cue cards, they'd have to change it into a plural, and then go to the corner that was what their ending was to their word. So for example, if a kid got the word city, he would have to change it to cities. He would go to the section that says drop the Y and add an IES. And then as a class, we went around and everyone presented theirs, and we all made sure that everyone agreed that they were in the right section. So that's what they did for their activity, and then we gave them worksheets for them to work through. We had worksheets that covered everything, so S's, ES's, IES's, and it was just kind of the key to getting this lesson and it spreading over all these weeks, and kind of just kept drilling them with examples and practice times, and just kept doing these worksheets. And what I would do every time after every class, I'd hand in the worksheet, and then I would mark them, and then next class we'd hand them back and they'd get time to do their corrections. And we just kept doing that. There was just work periods, because that's just, to understand plural nouns, it's repetition, it's examples, and especially like I said before, for the exceptions, it's just things that you kind of, through reading and through seeing it, that's when you kind of remember it. And so that's how we use the know, understand, and do. was just really trying to get them to practice it, to know it, to understand it, not just memorize. Like, that's why we do so many examples, is to really understand the rules and what it means. And I think that really helped doing the plural nouns that way, because then when we got into possessives, we had a little trouble because every time they saw a possessive, they wanted to change it to a plural and then add the possessive, so then add the apostrophe S or S apostrophe. So I feel like in the future, if I was to reteach that, I would maybe space it out a little bit more, like not have it one after the other, because they are pretty similar. But I think it also helped, because to use this kind of know, understand, do. I think for the possessives, like why they were confused is because I didn't maybe spend as much time on the know, because I wanted to get to the understand, because sometimes even in their plurals, before we even taught the possessives, people were using apostrophe S's. And so I really wanted them to understand, but I think I didn't spend enough time on the know part, where they had to know what a possessive was and what is the difference between a plural and a possessive. So when we did the final unit test that encompassed all plural nouns and possessives, there was some people that had, because I tried to make it so like the one section was plural nouns and possessives, and that's when the instructions said, so there wasn't plurals and possessive mixed together. But still some people had some trouble. They got the plurals down, but sometimes that's all people did. Even on the possessive sections, they just did plurals throughout the whole test. So I think know, understand, and do is a great tool, and I think it's important for the teacher also to stress everything, and not just get caught up on the understand, do part, but the know, and keep the know and the understand separate, because I think sometimes it's very easy to mix them together, because, well, you need to know this, but if you're knowing it, then you should understand it. So I think that was very important for me to learn, and I had to learn kind of by making the mistake myself. So yeah, that is my activity 2.